wanted. Plus, I thought I was going to be doing something possibly at this time. That didn't happen. So here I am. There's a lot I wanted to talk about, but I think I just focus on one topic tonight, and it's going to be the Las Vegas shooting. I was kind of interested in looking into it just out of curiosity, see if there's anything new. And so I did some searching and some. Hey, Stevie, how's it going? So I did do some searching about the Las Vegas shooting. Because, you know, I want to figure. I want the truth, whether it's the official narrative, which I highly doubt, or someone else ended up, if they piece together certain things, that's great, and see what the official narrative ends up doing. Most likely they just kind of ignore it and hope it goes away, and they don't report on it, even though you would think some breaking story about potential false flag would be a big deal. You never hear any mainstream media talk about it. All right, so hold on while I get things going. Feel free to come in, talk about it. I know some people don't want to talk about it because they don't want to look, I guess you could say, like a conspiracy theorist. I'm okay. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I agree. But I'm a different type of conspiracy theorist that mainstream media and other people might label. I actually look into the material. I'm an investigator, I guess. Not necessarily by trade, but just out of curiosity. And whenever you're studying things, reading about things, you have to have an eye out for whether if it's true or just made up or what have you. So, and sometimes they're wrong. You know, if you're an English major, you're going to find like grammar mistakes or punctuation, you know, that stuff. I don't care about that stuff. If you're someone like me, you're going to find issues of something that's wrong. By trade, I am a quality assurance engineer. So if there's bugs in software, yeah, I'm going to look for it. So same thing with an official story. I'm going to ask questions because it just something doesn't add up, right? I'm going to look at it a certain way, ask questions, and if those questions aren't answered or they're just ignored or I'm just attacked for asking them, you know, that's a good sign of something like it's a warning signal, pretty much. All right, so first thing I want to talk about is the official narrative. The official narrative is pretty simple, and I'm going to share my screen. All right. So the easiest official narrative to follow is by following the Washington Post. Washington Post, of course, has big ties to the CIA. So you pretty much get a good sense of what other mainstream media narrative networks are going to be talking about. Of course, remember, it's a big echo chamber. So what they're going to talk about is the same thing, and referencing each other and not really having a source that just really makes it legitimate as for like outright proof. I mean, there's a lot of questions. Hi, Snark. Regarding the situation, like, you know, how Las Vegas has so many security cameras. You know, they're in hotel casinos, and they don't have any video footage, or they're not going to release any of it. So that's another question. You know, people have these pretty smart questions of, hey, how did this happen? So next, one of the things that I think in a strategic sense is they're letting, either they're a part of it, of the controlled opposition, the controlled conspiracy theory sector, I guess you could say. The independent media can be labeled as alt-right media. What we're doing, what a lot of people are trying to do, that just want to get the truth out with no ties to any political affiliation, I think they're the most accurate, and they're going to do their investigative research into the subject. And because if you don't, you're just giving the mainstream media, the establishment, firepower into delegitimizing anything that you have to say. And we'll get back to the false flag bit in a moment. This is the Washington Post talking about how after the Texas shooting, it just basically all these conspiracy theorists are toting false flags, just like the Las Vegas shooting. So Texas shooting, not a false flag, but Las Vegas shooting, false flag. But they're saying, hey, these same people who were saying the Las Vegas shooting was a false flag, hey, Texas shooting is false flag. All these guys are nuts, wackos. So they're just lumping everyone into one big category. Okay. So within it, there's even more articles, Washington Post, a running list of viral hoaxes and misinformation about the Las Vegas shooting. And they're going to keep going and going. It's crowd control. It's a lot of I feel like they don't even really need to do this if it was true. All they really need to do is show people the proof, show people security camera feeds, show people evidence, show people coroner reports, show people obituaries, all this other stuff. Just give people the information that they want. Investigative reporters, answer their questions, give them the info that they want. But you see a lot of kind of pushback of, yeah, we'll take questions. Oh, the answer is, we don't know yet. We'll get back to you. And then, they'll change the timelines and all this other stuff. It's really hard for anyone to keep track. And plus, as this happens, you're just seeing tons and tons of, what would you call it? Tons and tons of other things going on in news. Hollywood, Harvey Weinstein. I haven't really been paying much attention to any news, but a lot of it gets through from listening to everyone else. Some interesting things, again, with the official narrative is the timelines change, and it changes not just once, but multiple times. And I feel like that's not very, they figure something wrong with their own story, so they fix it, and they realize there's more more things wrong with their story, so they fix it again. It's just most, I guess you would say, most real stories of real investigative work, they won't really release it until they know for sure, so that they have to re-update and add in more changes of narrative. It's just poor work, in my opinion. It's just like in software, you find bugs, they release a build, and instead of testing it, they just release the build which supposedly fixed stuff. It doesn't work that way. You test it again, you're gonna find more bugs, and you just keep going until you pretty much run out of time, or you feel confident that the bugs that you release aren't going to be too noticeable. All right, we're going to switch over to the non-stop sharing screen. Snark, I know you're busy. If anyone else wants to join, please feel free. I'm going to go look at the chat, see what everyone's up to. Hey, Snark, how's it going?
Oh, nothing like a post-sale beta test.
Hey, have you realized that everything is pretty much a beta test these days?
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys and Stevie was talking about pre-ordering games. Pretty much when you buy a game right from release, it's pretty much beta stage.
Oh, I just bought an old game. I don't know how old it was. I mean, I think it's 2 or 3 years. My kids said, you got to play this, Dad. You're getting so old. I got it. And the first thing it had me do, even that old a game, was re-download it after it came on. So I waited for the entire DVD download, and then it just re-downloaded another DVD's worth of content.
Yeah.
So basically, we have to get beyond beta testing. Post-sale beta testing has got to be starting to called theta testing.
Yeah.
Because that's all we are. We're just bug testers. And if they feel like it, they'll upgrade and fix it. Otherwise, they just laugh and go on to the next.
Yeah. And this is a great topic to discuss in the future, is just this whole beta, theta, whatever testing you want to call it.
The theta I just made up.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I mean,
but that's what we are now. We product cycle doesn't end at the sale anymore, especially with software. You're expected to do product upgrades.
Yeah. So have you been following the Las Vegas shooting?
A little bit. Okay. And yesterday's stuff that came out made it even worse.
What was that?
That it may be linked to some of the Saudi princes that got hacked or lost their positions over the weekend.
Oh.
They owned the floors. Or I guess that is. And again, I say that, but we need time for the news to come out and see what is real news and what is speculation.
And who reported that?
Oh, geez, I can't remember. That's another part. I don't want to say it's true when I'm just remembering, what I quickly scanned while I was doing something else. And there was possible link between the ownership of the floors of the Mandalay Bay 4 floors and the Saudis.
Okay. Yeah, once we get to the unofficial narrative, there's a couple of YouTube videos that I'll probably share, at least talk about a little, because we don't have, I'm kind of blurry again. What's going on? Hold on. What's that trick that you do?
Yeah, slowly. Take the hand up, let it see the creases on your fingers, and bring it back, and then it'll transfer to the creases on your face.
That doesn't do it. I didn't do it slow enough. Here, let's just try this. There you go.
Yes, that's got good definition.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm old, so I have some wrinkles.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to look at the chat real quick. So see what's going on. Hey, someone. Bruins. How's it going? Dominic. Awesome. Yeah, you should come in and talk about it, Dominic. Because I know a lot of people probably follow this a lot more than I do. Stevie, Eric, awesome, Eric, you should join in. All right, so saying hi to everyone. Okay, so we all know the official narrative. A lot of people, I think, that we associate with, and maybe even the alt-right, don't believe the official narrative. But not believing is one thing. Actually knowing, investigating, figuring out which part of the official narrative isn't true, that's something that we need to figure out, and not necessarily try to associate something that's to something else that you don't like. For example, tying it to John Podesta, which we'll get to in a little bit. And that just gives credence to mainstream media to weaponize the whole conspiracy theorists are crazy nuts, and any questioning of the official narrative is just you're a conspiracy theorist, and so it's hard to talk about anything, and be taken seriously.
One of the things in the conspiracy theories, and from what we noticed in the past, especially how Project Blue Book was used to feed the conspiracy theories, to blow as many conspiracy theories out there as possible, to hide what the real event at Roswell was. And so I would assume that if there was anything happening in this, that they would be doing something to fuel as many conspiracy theories as possible. So we can't even tell by watching the news what's real and what isn't. Because in Project Blue Book, the most supposedly who we should have trusted the most was the one delivering the most misinformation to us.
Yeah, it's really hard. And when I'm looking at videos on YouTube, I'm always just kind of have to just reserve some judgment until I'm finished. I want to see what their end goal is. And one of the things that stands out to me the most, in which I absolutely am, it's starting to irritate me a lot, is when you hear music, and the music, it has that ominous tone, and it's like programming. It's just, hey, Dominic, and the whole programming aspect of showing video clips, putting it in like black and white, or some type of really making it more, the message a little bit more powerful. But even though you're not really you're showing a lot, but you're telling a lot, but you're not showing anything, type of thing. So that gets to me, even though it seems like pretty good analytical content. And one of the things I'm going to show you later is where it gets pretty crazy. But before we move on, Dominic, do you have anything to say? Official narrative, unofficial narrative, what you've been following?
No, I've just been listening, and I think it really happened. And that 4chan post really leads credence to somebody, that was just too much of a coincidence to not be connected. That would just be amazing if it was.
That 4chan, and if people haven't seen it, but basically it was written by some, of course it's anonymous, but it was written on September 11th, saying that it was going to be the next day, September 12th, for people to watch out. So I don't know how that would tie in when this whole thing happened on October 1st.
Well, he said it could happen later. So it did say September. He wrote it before, that's, I guess, September 10th. Mm-hmm. But he did say it might not happen that day, but just keep in mind that it's going to happen in the Steer Clear in Vegas.
Okay.
So I'd also like to remind people that the how and why doesn't mean it didn't happen. Doesn't mean people weren't shot. So who did it and when? Like with Kennedy. It doesn't matter how many shooters there was. He did die. We can argue all we want on who did it and where. The fact is he did die. Well, either that or he's living with Elvis. And the same thing might be true, well, probably is true with the Vegas shooting, that of the possibilities that are out there, there did appear to be fire, and it does appear that some people were injured. The other information coming in from multiple sources, we don't know. But from the initial shots being recorded from people using cell phones at varying locations where you can put the sounds together, it does kind of add up that there was an event.
Yeah.
Right. My personal thing is that if there was anybody in the audience who thought they had gunfire going on and started returning fire, that would have been covered up. Just a second, I got to turn the mic off.
All right.
What do you think there was more than one shooter? The evidence on that? mean, that one guy did that one video, which was pretty convincing. I don't know how credible he is, but he puts up a really good analysis on that whiteboard thing.
Now here, I want to get back to that later. I want to show you a clip from a video that I found, and I'm going to go ahead and post it on the chat so people can find, and I'll also be able to show it while I'm viewing the screen. Okay, so I'm just going to skip these. Not the sheriff one. Okay, here's kind of an interesting one. It kind of goes over a couple of different things. It's by Nevada Forensics. I don't know if it's really Nevada Forensics, just something what they call it. How billions were fooled by the Las Vegas shooting video. It's 23 minutes long. I'm not going to show all of it. I'm just going to show the beginning part because this is an interesting thing we could also talk about. Okay. So before we go into anything else, what are you guys' thoughts about that? Is that, I mean, music aside, the like we don't have the sources verified. It looks like something that we'd be able to look up. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, take a better look at it. I mean, if all that's true, I mean, that just adds to it.
Yeah, could it just be just coincidence, or if it was true, we verified the sources of that information?
I don't see how all that can be coincidence.
All right. So I'm gonna continue playing a little bit more, and of course, you're gonna see the anonymous with the 4chan thing for people who haven't seen it. And so right here, you can see it's pretty much warning people not to stay inside, don't go out the next day and future days. But this was written on September 11th, 2017. Now, the video kind of stays there for a little bit, but what I want to go back to is, this is interesting. This is kind of a mashup of a lot of the videos that were played that people had on their own cell phones, and you can just hear them not really saying that they didn't think it was real gunshots. And these are people who are actually there. And you also won't see any blood or anyone really dead from all these. So you don't have to work. There's no not safe for work type of stuff. Or if you're under 18, you're not going to see any of that anyways. So this adds potential evidence that, maybe these are, no one maybe really did get shot or dead, but we'll hold that reserved for later.
Do you have the share sound set on?
What was that?
I'm not hearing it. Do you have the share sound set on?
Yeah, it should be.
I don't hear it either.
You don't hear it either?
Yeah, maybe it's on the other part that I have muted.
See, yeah, it might be playing on YouTube.
I'm not hearing it on YouTube.
Oh, shoot. Why is this happening? Let's see. So no one else is hearing it on YouTube? You guys aren't hearing it either. I think I need to same as system. Okay. Let's see, same system. Okay, I'm going to switch my microphone so it's what I hear and see if you guys hear it. You guys won't be able to hear me though.
I'm still not getting any sound.
Mm.
Are you guys still not getting any sound? Dang it.
No sound.
Well, let's see. All right, I'm going to try messing with some settings. Oh, that won't work. It sucks every time I how will this work? How come I always hear it when you guys play it, but you guys can't hear it when I play it?
It might be different for guests than host.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna try giving. Oh, I'm gonna give. All right. Let's see. Did you guys just hear that?
No.
No. Dang it. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, this doesn't make any sense to show videos if I can't do it. All right. I'm gonna try a different way. So hold on tight. So feel free to talk about what you saw. So first, at least,
it seems like there was a rash of videos and stuff, and on that interest in it died. I don't remember what else happened in the news. Some Kardashian probably changed her hair color or something.
Yeah, it really died off. Like, I'm surprised they haven't showed any videos of the guy, recent videos that I've seen, of him checking in or any activity, just prior to the shooting.
Have there been any videos of funerals or anything? Do we have a list of the dead?
Mm-hmm.
Have anybody verified those?
Some have tried. Like they'll look through obituaries to see and just type in their name, like for database lookups, and they haven't found anything. And so that's kind of suspicious. And I do have links to that, which I want to get to later. Just let me get some stuff here ready. All right. Keep talking. Sorry,
Oh.
everyone. I'm not as prepared as I thought with these technical issues.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe the release of the Donna Brazil book and stuff like that might be more of a conspiracy theory than we thought.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me a bit. It seems that they have the perfect dodge for everything. Once they start getting found out, something else happens right away to distract everyone's attention.
Because how many people were killed? I mean, supposedly with the
59.
59,
I think.
For this to have died in the news so fast is awfully bizarre to me.
The thing with me, that the crisis actor thing, where I have a hard time even giving that credence is that would just be too many people to keep quiet. I mean, they can't keep anything quiet, and they're going to have all those people, and not one of them, somebody's going to say, well, I'll give you $1 million to tell your story, and to see that guy singing.
Mm-hmm. Then you don't hear anything about Bill Clinton giving a speech in Moscow to do the uranium sale, and then the uranium sale through Rosatom selling the uranium to North Korea, and North Korea making bombs and threatening us.
Yeah, boy, Trump would have done that. Whoa. If Trump would have done that, it'd be all over.
Yeah. To me, it's a pretty serious thing when we've got somebody that really seemingly had just stolen or sold illegally, or I guess they made it legal, weapons to be used against us in mass.
And like you said before, we need that. That stuff we need here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the fact that suddenly that amount of uranium that we supplied Russia now is being moved to North Korea.
Did they sell some to Iran or something too? Someone said they sold
North Korea.
Oh, North Korea sold it to Iran? Oh, I heard they sold some to Iran.
I don't know that Iran would need ours. I can't remember what the status of Iran reactors is.
Okay, so this might work.
Oh, now I see the tags. We're on the unofficial narrative.
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
My wife was watching The View. Those tags are awful familiar to me. Have you watched The View, Devon?
I don't watch the news anymore. Not even independent news, really.
Thought maybe you stole those tags from The View. I heard. I don't know. I heard you're tight with Cenk, and Cenk is tight with that Joy.
Okay. So this is going to be, I'm going to rewind it a little bit.
Yeah. And the people getting used to the shootings, pretty much.
Yeah.
The guy fired into a crowd. I was it 500 wounded, 59 dead. Well, what was the number of wounded, dead, and dead in the church shooting the other? I think there was 26 dead.
Yeah, I think 26 dead.
It's almost in the same ballpark, at least on the killings. The woundings, no, but
now we hear it. Run with it, okay?
The kills what brings the newspaper lines.
Who's Tequila Mockingbird?
Russian.
I guess that's James, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna switch it to the video. You're gonna have to go to YouTube to listen. So, James, can you mute your YouTube?
I was watching you catch some trout.
Oh yeah. All right. This is gonna be weird. So I'm gonna mute everyone so you guys can turn on your YouTube, and you guys can listen to the what's going on there. So let's see. I need everyone. Oh, they don't. My goodness. How do I mute everybody? Things just change on me. I hate when things just change on me. Participants. That's right. Am I the host? Wait. I think I lost my host to myself. Okay. That's why. All right, so I'm gonna mute everyone. Go ahead and play unmute on your YouTube stream. Okay. And here we go.
Seriously, I don't know what's going on.
Somebody is tapped into the sound system. There's no hits. Nowhere. It's a sound system.
It's fireworks. It's fireworks. Stop. It's fireworks.
I really don't see anybody actually injured.
Mike, get down. Get down, hon.
Okay.
They're gonna shoot you, and then what?
It can't be that.
You just want to videotape it.
There's a problem with that. That's not gunshots. It's something else. It's not gunshots.
It didn't sound like it, but
A gunshot is totally
did
different.
somebody get wounded?
I'm good.
It's not a real gun. That doesn't sound like a real gun.
It is a fucking gun. That is a real gun. Yes, it is. It's a real gun.
It's okay, sis. Relax.
I know.
It's okay. It's okay.
PA system.
Are you sure?
I don't see injured. I think I'm not buying it right now. Because I see people laying, but I don't.
Oops, I got that mixed up. All right. Go ahead and mute your YouTube stream. Hopefully sound worked. Otherwise, that was just a whole lot of video with no sound. What are your thoughts on that? After seeing that,
I actually missed it because I was stuck at the. It was on a live stream, but it was not the live part, so I missed it.
So it was basically a mashup of video footage of like people who were there, and a lot of them were thinking, you know, that's not real gunshots. They're pretty much arguing while it's happening, saying that's not real gunshots. I think it's through the PA system. I think it's through the speaker system. I don't see any flashes.
I think I did see that media thing. You know what the thing is, when you're in a large crowd like that, and you can't really tell, you know, especially there. Like I've been in situations where guys like 50 feet from me were shot, and I didn't see it happen. You know what I mean? When you got all that commotion going, you're pretty much your adrenaline's so high. You're focused on like getting the hell out of there or doing what you got to do to survive. I think a lot of those people, you know, I wouldn't. They might be sincere, but I don't know how much of an expert they are on what a real gunshot sounds like, or something like that.
What's your take on it, James?
Okay, so I actually sent a video to Snork in regards to a guy that was, I guess he'd been in the service. He was an ex-police investigator, and he deals with a lot of crime scene investigations, or he used to. And he laid something out that I thought was pretty believable. Is that there were two guns because there's a. And Snorkel will tell me that the theory is correct, but I'll try to put it in layman's terms before he gets his terms. But he was saying that because of because there was a pip and then a boom, the pip came before the boom. So the pip, like a tick, that means that they were hitting the ground, and you'd hear the hit, tick, 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 and then a half a second later, or a second later, or a second and a half later, you hit the boom. There was also another tick and a different boom that was faster, that there was another gun somewhere closer. That's what his theory was. So what that meant is there was a gun over here, and there was a gun here, and the crowd is here. So it hit tick, boom, from a camera's perspective. And then there was another gun here with a tick boom, a little faster, with the camera in the same area.
Okay.
So that kind of proved that there may have been more than one shooter. I sent Snork the information, then he said it seems feasible.
Okay.
That's about the extent. Well, what do you think? What's going on in your mind there, Snork?
Well, I mean, I didn't consult with a ballistics expert on this shooting. And I'm not a ballistics expert, but I definitely thought that everything in his presentation was quite feasible and reasonable. I didn't see him do any math errors. And one of the problems we have here is, especially in the crowd where they're saying this isn't real, this is coming over the speakers. Well, we're listening through speakers. So it's like the old TV commercials. Look at the quality of this TV. And they're showing it on a TV.
Yeah. I remember that. The people, they're trying to show HD TV and you're watching it from a non-HD TV. So how do they, yeah. Anyways, right.
Well, anyway, so we can say is feasible, at least. And I've got to say that, they probably has a lot more experience with weapons. People that have actually been in battle can recognize a real shot. People that might play a lot of different video games or whatever might think they know what a gun sounds like. For a lot of people, it's that have experienced it under duress. Gunshot sound is unmistakable. So I'd have to go with veterans people that have gunshot experience, especially in bad situations. I would give the most trust to them. And as Dominic said, adrenaline gives you tunnel vision. As you get more and more adrenaline, your field of vision shrinks to be just a straw down in front of you. And so what's going on around you, and this is sound as well as sight, that kind of focuses on one event just to get you out there alive. And so I really wish we had more information, and I wish we weren't at a period of time where we don't trust the information where it's coming from.
Yeah.
The taxi driver posting her sounds. I'd like to see more of these put together to see, are these people telling the story of what happened, by what their location is, and using the same analysis as what James sent me to say, where was this taxi cab when the sounds were going? Where were they apart? And what is the difference in those sounds? And that should also match up foot by foot. And I think, we should be looking at this thing that came up with the Saudis, where the ones that just got in trouble had links to the floors that were involved in the Mandalay Bay. So can it get any weirder? And I would really like to see, are there wounded people? Because I remember seeing videos of people being thrown on trucks.
Yeah.
Where is this data coming from? Were people saying nobody went to the hospital?
You'd have to see more videos of like people actually filming in the hospital, but you won't see any blood. I think it's in the same video. I'll leave a link. So you have the link. It's in the Twitter. I linked it in case people want to watch before. So I'm going to go on to the next video, and it's basically it's just part one of like confirming no one died with someone named Dr. Steve Pete's.
I wanted to say something real quick.
Okay. Yeah.
So what's really mind-boggling to me is Las Vegas is just, I mean, if you've been there, and I've been there, and I've been pretty messed up sometimes, where I'm just like, wow, good thing they don't film this shit. And my buddy goes, dude, there's a fucking camera everywhere in Las Vegas. Everywhere. And I go, well, that's good. That sucks, because I don't want to know what the fuck I did the night before, when I'm on total blackout. Like the movie, what was that? What was that movie with those guys? The Hangover?
Yep.
Yeah, this something like that probably happened with me a few times. But that's really an important point, is there's so much information that we're getting from people, but there's a lot of information that's being held back. A lot of information we don't even know about that could probably piece this together much better for all of us. So, I mean, the more we can see, the better we can come up with a better conclusion. But I still think something that I was just watching something today. A girl on Facebook that I know, she sent me something. The conspiracy theories that have become conspiracy facts. And I'm watching it right now. And I've just begun like the first 5 minutes of it. It's like an hour long or something. And just so many things that over time little pieces start to spill out. Like the DNC rigging. And now Donna Brazil, her subconscious is like putting subliminal messages that, things were rigged, and Seth Rich is even in her, she mentioned Seth Rich in her book, and her and Bernie talked about it, which is really odd, but the truth comes out over time. It's just sad that we have to fucking wait for our own government to divulge the information. That's the biggest problem.
And look at the JFK assassination. I mean, the new release, we know it's not a lone gunman.
Yeah.
Anyways, next.
And a lot of that information had already been given in the 70s. And there's over 300 pages that were not even given or that have been that haven't been exposed yet.
Yeah.
They're not released. So it's just the trust factor with our own government has gotten really bad. That's the biggest issue that I have right now. You know, anything that happens, I'm just I don't know. I'm not trusting. I trust you guys more than I trust, and I don't even freaking really know you guys. You know,
yeah.
But I trust you guys more than I know my own government. That's supposedly supposed to be there for me since the day of my birth. But you know, the older I'm getting, the more I'm finding out that they're not. All right, let's see the next one.
Dominic.
The part that another part that kind of gives credence to it really happened is, I don't know if you saw the video of the guy. He does videos and it's on like gun rights and he seemed like a pretty credible guy. But he was next. There was a video. He was next to somebody who was shot. He went home, got his weapon, went back, and there's other videos of him talking to the cops. You know, to see if they need help, if they're trying to tell him to stay away.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking the second gun was somebody in the audience that thought somebody was shooting at him and just started shooting the audience to knock him out at first.
Yeah. All right.
I could catch somebody in the audience.
So I'm gonna mute you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to YouTube.
Is it on your channel, the YouTube?
Yes.
Okay, so I can watch it.
I'll give you a few seconds.
I'm David Knight, and we have on the phone with us now Dr. Steve Pieczenik. Pieczenik, of course, is an MD, PhD, an American psychiatrist, former State Department official, author, and publisher. His novels, many of them with Tom Clancy, are based on over 20 years' experience resolving international crises and hostage situations for the Department of State for 4 administrations. You can find him on the internet at stevepieczenik.com and also on Twitter. Steve Pieczenik.
So this is part of 9/11. They can call it conspiracy, but everything you said, David, is the same thing I said within 24 hours of 9/11. My CIA operatives admitted that they did it. I had the names of the people who were involved. So what's happening now is a continuation. Sandy Hook, false flag. San Bernardino, false flag. Yesterday in Las Vegas, a complete false flag. It was absolute nonsense. You could hear the verbiage. You could hear the same setup as we had in Sandy Hook. The narrative is so predictable that no one was killed. There was no shooting. And in fact, what happened and the giveaway was this was the greatest killing at all time of America. That's distinctive of Trump. He has to have the most and the best. The sad part is that Trump fell into this system and he's co-opted by the Department of HS, CIA, and FBI. What we need to do in America now is demand the indictment of presidents, indictment of officials. I don't know if it'll happen, but this is enough reason to start a revolution. And I've said it from the day Alex Jones had me on the show. I said 9/11 was a criminal act on behalf of the government. It was continued by Obama, continued by Hillary, continued now, unfortunately, by Trump. I'm very disappointed in him. There was no death, no killings, no shooter, absolutely nothing. And the reason...
Wait a minute, you're saying there was nobody killed in Las Vegas?
No, nobody, nothing. It was basically a total false flag. It was a total Sandy Hook phenomenon. The same thing that happened in Sandy Hook. The police were co-opted, the special force, whatever units were there, the FBI was co-opted. This is a classical false flag where nobody was shot. You look at some of the old critics, the actors that have been there. They were there in Sandy Hook, the same people who talked about murder and killing and the deaths. They were upset. So I know Alex was intimidated by Sandy Hook, and he said it really happened. It did not happen. I happen to have known a psychiatrist who claimed Adam Lanza was sick, and he was scared. And Yale was scared. Now Nevada is scared. And what's happening is the government's coming in and creating these episodes as they did 9/11 in order to go to war, sustain a military economy, and sustain an internal repression of our people. And that's not going to happen.
Well, I agree with you that this is going to be used in very sinister ways. Are you saying that all of those people are in on a conspiracy? I don't understand what you're saying, that nobody died. I don't believe that nobody died.
Sandy Hook. How many people were killed in Sandy Hook? 22 people were killed in Sandy Hook, plus 6 adults in a few seconds by a autistic kid. Where was the shooter? And what you have here is very simply a systematic co-optation by the federal government to do what they need to do. Whether you think somebody was killed and nobody was killed, it's still the same issue. In the Orlando situation, San Bernardino, nobody was killed either. This was all a false flag that was set up by the government. It's a constant effort on the police, not even a police state, to constantly get money for a war that we're in right now in Afghanistan. It's a distraction. It's how many people believe 9/11 was a false flag and a stand down? At the time when I said it, within 24 hours, no one believed it. There was no one with me. So what I'm trying to say to you, and I'm just telling you, this is Sandy Hook all over again. I mean, that's from my point of view. It's, again, you got non-shooter, you got somebody who's up there. I don't even know what they were shooting. They couldn't get it straight. He had 19 guns. He had 20 guns. This is all earmarks of Sandy Hook. You have an elaborate story about a shooter who may or may not have existed. His father was a criminal. I mean, this is nonsense, David. This is absolute nonsense in the narrative. And then we have a woman who went to the Middle East, but she went to the Philippines, and we had the same story in San Bernardino. How many were killed in San Bernardino? How many were killed in Orlando? None.
I agree that there's a lot of problems with this narrative.
Is that basically, starting from 9/11, we have not changed our narrative. We have not changed our attitude to criminal behavior on the part of the U.S. government. And at the same time, the American public has done nothing to make our narrative. We have not changed our attitude to criminal behavior on the part of the U.S. government. And at the same time, the American public has done nothing to make...
All right. Sorry about that.
Our narrative. We have not changed our attitude to criminal behavior on the part of the U.S. government. And at the same time, the American public has done nothing to make...
That was James, I think. James, let me know when you're muted.
Our attitude.
Sorry.
All right, that's all right. So watching that, what do you think?
Who wants to go first? I'll go first. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. With the lack of information, and I don't even know if we're supposed to have information. I don't even know if we have a right. You know, we have a right to information, and you can say and you can formulate and you can get all kinds of different notions in your head about so many different things. But as far as completely and outright proving something to be either false presentation by our own government or not, that's the sad part is you could speculate that it is, and then you could also speculate that it isn't. So this guy that's talking, I'm thinking, now he's talking about a lot of things. He's not just talking about Vegas. He's talking about Sandy Hook. He's talking about fucking just a lot of mass shootings. So that is, and I think there's just not enough information for him to. I don't see that interviewer, the guy that's on the radio show, saying, "Well, okay, I like what it sounds interesting what you're saying, but where's your proof? You have something you could bring to the table that you can give us, that they can show us that you can unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt, back up what you're saying." And that's the sad part is he doesn't have it. He doesn't have that. I know he doesn't have that because I don't think anybody has that information. but as far as 9/11, that's still up for some serious debate. Sandy Hook, I'm not sure about that either. But the thing is just from listening to this guy, when you have somebody that comes out and says these things, I really believe that if you aren't holding them accountable as well, it's just like Donna Brazile. Donna Brazile's now she's backtracking on the things she said with Stephanopoulos the other day. It's like they said, you fucked up, get back on TV and fix what the fuck you said in your book, you idiot. You know, and then she gets on there and goes, I don't give a hell what people think, and she's all trying to be stern and like it's just bullshit. So in order for us to really make a precise and accurate, come up with a precise and accurate conclusion on what we believe actually happens, we just don't have enough information. It never ever seems like we have enough information in regards to a lot of these worldly and domestic events that are pretty tragic, which is really sad. Because my grandpa always said, there's that guy's story and that guy's story, and then there's your perception of the truth, not absolute truth. Because you're going to get what you take from both of those is up to you, because you weren't there. You have to make the determination, just like a juror. Jurors get this side of the story, then they get that side of the story. Based on what's been thrown at them, they have to make a decision, sometimes life or death. And I still think that's just a pretty fucked up system. That's all I have to say about that. And I don't want to go with what this guy's saying. It's too out there.
All right. What about the obituary search? Do you think there's any, I guess, excuses? I think I think most of you guys are taking the approach that the official narrative is true. We just don't have enough information to verify it. I guess I'll take the other approach. I think to question the official narrative. Hey, that's our job as citizens.
Yeah.
We don't get the information, and we try searching for it on our own, and we can't get any information out of it. Then what's that say about the official narrative? So that there are no, I think in that website it showed like 95 million like listings in their database, and none of them are coming up for anyone that died in the Las Vegas shooting. Is it just maybe an error on that site?
I had no idea I never thought about that. Wow.
Or is it just maybe the take the approach that if it was a false flag, did the FBI, CIA, or deep state, whoever set it up, did they just not think that far ahead? I mean, this is stuff that you didn't have to think about when you're doing this, I guess, if this was done in the 80s and 90s. But now we've got the internet. It's 2010 plus. You know, with the tip of our fingertips, anyone can search anything, look into databases. Our smartphones are more than capable enough of things that we weren't able to do 2 decades ago. What link is that, Snark?
Hey, Snark does this all the time.
Oh, the names list.
It drives me nuts. Hold on, I'm going to mute that. Sorry. So Snark does this all the time. He gets some really good stuff or information, and he posts it in the chat.
Oh, he posted in live chat too, so don't worry. He's doing both now.
Yeah, and sometimes he has great comments, and then he posts it in the live chat.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'll break up everybody, and I'll mute everybody for you to say what you need to say. Just let us know. I'll give you the podium, bro. Anytime. But so here are the victims of the Las Vegas shooting. But wouldn't that be in the obituaries, though?
Yeah, let's pull one of these up at random.
Okay.
Here's one. How many how many Adrian Murphets can live in Anchorage, Alaska? So I'm going to go over and do a Google search. Let's see here. Do I have anything sensitive up? Close that. Sometimes it kind of posts some sensitive things up in the. Okay. I'm going to actually share my Google search screen. Whoops. I did that. I lost my.
All right.
Hang on. So we will share this screen. Desktop 2. Okay, it must be that one. Okay. Do you see my mouse moving?
Yes, sir.
Good. That's the one I'm on. I'm going to Google. I just lost the CBS search. So let me go back and get that link for me again. I can't see my chat to get that. I'm going back in to get the link. Go ahead and talk amongst yourselves for a second. And I got to put the YouTube back up.
I mean, you guys know what we do. I mean, my mom's a private investigator, and I can find out who these people are and where they're from.
Yeah, I just thought we could look up the one that was toughest. When I closed the one window, it killed my browser window, so I have to jump back in.
All right, let me know if you when you get it.
You want to do another one?
Yeah, well, I mean, I bring back all my links right now. Here we go. We were going to look up Murphett in Anchorage, Alaska.
So the last story I heard that I thought was kind of interesting is that there was a theory, there's tons of them, that it was a Middle Eastern ISIS something deal gone wrong. And this guy, Paddock, was a CIA agent. That's one of the theories. I mean, there's lots of different theories out there.
Okay. The very first one I pulled up has an obituary.
That's his?
Yeah, the name I picked at random has an obituary in his town. Now that we've seen an obituary first try, that's still not statistically significant. I'm going to go back to the one. I'm going to go back to the one that they said was false, and I'm going to do the same search. You can still see my mouse?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to search for Christopher Roy Ball, and this is the one that we just heard him say was false.
Yep.
And his he was in the Navy, San Francisco. Well, that's kind of a large town. The good thing with Anchorage was there wasn't that many people. Transport his body to Corona, California is where the funeral is. Rona, California.
You just press down the down arrow when you see it. Autofilling.
Okay.
It looks like legacy.com has it set up.
Yeah.
Than when you had before.
Born October 9th. Lived to the fullest. Read more. Dog handler for the United States. Served 4 tours in Kandahar. To get killed coming home seeing a music concert just seems like irony. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing...
Yep, we could debunk that.
Basically blow the guy's whole... I mean, to me, it was kind of... I'm going to stop share. To me, it was kind of bad when he referenced Sandy Hook as a... And that one I really think is really hard to say was falsified.
He sounds like a hardcore libertarian. Fuck the government.
Sounds like he gets his news exclusively from the people who talk about lizard people overnight.
Yeah.
Well, they do supply us with vast amounts of oil.
He's an Alex Joneser.
All right, so now we're going to go into untrue reports. Actually, we're kind of already there because we just kind of found that video was kind of an untrue report. And now here's one that I actually uncovered on my own before this. And I'll go ahead and mute everyone, and I'll let you guys see it a little bit. Now, this is the amazing part. It's from a channel that has 221,000 subscribers. It's not Alex Jones. It's called SGT Report. It had 350,000 views. So, all right, I'll mute, and then I'll play it on YouTube.
As the official story about the lone gunman Stephen Paddock and the shooting in Las Vegas begins to collapse almost as quickly as World Trade Center 7 on 9/11, we're going to tell you the horrifying truth about the even bigger lie about the Vegas event that almost no one is talking about. Forensic audio analysis of the Las Vegas shooting is providing nearly conclusive evidence that alleged and now deceased shooter Stephen Paddock could not have been the only shooter.
There are 2 different shooters at 2 different locations.
Meanwhile, the FBI's official timeline of the shooting has changed with new revelations that Paddock allegedly shot a security guard a full 6 minutes before he opened fire on concertgoers. This astounding revelation blows yet another huge hole in the official narrative and leads those who are not mentally impaired to ask if a Mandalay Bay maintenance team could and would respond to an overflowing toilet in a 32nd floor suite within 6 or 7 minutes to prevent flooding. Where on earth was the casino's security teams that evening? We now know that nearly everything about the official Las Vegas narrative, including the official story's check-in date for Stephen Paddock, is untrue. And as Sheriff Lombardo of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department attempts to keep the press updated on the ever-changing storyline, his FBI handler, Special Agent in Charge Aaron C. Rouse, keeps a watchful eye on Lombardo as if to say, stay on script. And we'd like to point out something very strange about Special Agent Rouse. It's probably just an odd coincidence, but according to researchers at Vote, Aaron C. Rouse, who before being assigned as the special agent in charge of the Las Vegas division of the FBI, most recently served as section chief in the counterintelligence division at FBI headquarters. But that's not the strange coincidence. No, the strange thing about Aaron C. Rouse is that he's married to this woman, Dublin, California School Board trustee Megan Rouse. And the weird thing about that is Megan's father is this man, John Podesta. But that...
All right. Now...
about Aaron C. Rouse is that he's married to this...
All right. I'll wait till James finishes. I know that there's some lag on the YouTube stream. So now that is actually false. It's not true. That Aaron Rouse is totally not affiliated with Megan Rouse, who is John Podesta's daughter. Megan Rouse is married to Gordon Rouse. They have 2 kids, Maribel and Gabriel, I think. And now, how I found out is, well, you just go to WikiLeaks. We all trust WikiLeaks here, right? I would say. Do we all trust WikiLeaks?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So I'm going to switch back to the browser. real quick. You guys don't need to be muted. So I was doing my investigation, and you can see that there's miss.maribel.rouse@gmail.com. And while that's searching, here you can see images for Megan Rouse family. The only picture that I have that I see through like a Google search is this picture, and that is her husband and her 2 kids. And I'm assuming that it would have to be her husband. Now, I go back to WikiLeaks. I looked through all these emails, and within these emails, there are attachments. So I go ahead and download the attachments, and this is when they're in Expedition Everest. I guess some ride, I guess. Let's see if I can share this part real quick. Photos. All right. Let's see. Now I'm going to switch it to.
Hey, Evan, what is a false flag, by the way?
What was that?
What exactly is a false flag?
Was it? I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I mean, was it a false flag?
We haven't gotten to that yet.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys can't see the photos. Dang it. You guys see it now?
Yeah, we're seeing it.
The photo?
Not the photo, no.
No, son of a gun.
It's taking a little time.
Yeah, it's not going to show it. Shoot. Let me see if I could do the image capture. Let's see. Great.
What is Puff Snort?
Puff the Magic Dragon was a we would call a machine gun that hung out of the side of a C-130 aircraft, and had a large number of bullets on board, I believe in the order of tons, that just shot down the barrel so fast that it could fill a football field in like 10 seconds and put a round in every inch of the football field. So basically they would just designate an area that was a kill zone. 50 caliber bullets traveling at the speed of sound basically just devastate everything. You've got no chance of surviving Puff the Magic Dragon. So in just a matter of seconds, if an actual Puff had been in that area, the entire crowd would be dead, no survivors.
And when that fires, every 5th round is a tracer. But when it fires, it looks like a laser like hitting the ground. And it's steady. It's just a hum. It doesn't sound like a weapon.
It's the same as a phalanx system. It's the same.
It's what a phalanx
caliber.
came out of. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've seen them. I've been right next to one going off. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah. No. Yeah, but if it was firing from the plane, you would have seen all that devastation a long time before you heard the sound.
Right.
And I'm just like I said in the other chat, it's pretty bad news if you can actually remember being at a place close enough to where a Puff fired, other than a testing ground.
So did you guys? I actually posted, I think, in Twitter, and I posted it in Facebook. The pictures of somebody showing all the dead bodies on the ground. I'm trying to look for them.
All right, I'm gonna share the screen real quick. Hopefully this works. All right.
Good luck.
There we go.
Force be with you. Always.
So this is the picture from WikiLeaks, and I'm zooming in. And from the previous pictures you could see, and from the email, that's Megan Ross's daughter, and that's Gordon Ross, the father. Unless she's always writing with some stranger that's not her father. Anyways, I debunk that as an untrue story. That Aaron Rouse, the FBI guy that was there, isn't Megan Ross's husband. There's no ties to the Podestas, and see, that's the thing when you. It gives Washington Post, it gives CNN, it gives New York Times credibility. People are actively searching and investigating something against the official narrative, and then you got something bogus like that. It's easy to give people a bad image of anyone who's just questioning the official narrative. Anyways, anyone else found any untrue reports that they've uncovered in this?
But didn't you guys see those pictures? I think I sent them. They're pretty horrific. When I first looked at it, it looks like an empty field, but if you blow it up, there's a bunch of dead people, or it looks like dead people laying around. And I posted that on my Facebook. I don't know if I can find it, man. It was like during that week. But I did put it in. I put it also on Twitter. And it was pretty, I think, you know, it'd be great on Facebook is if you could like spin a wheel to go to a date or just select like a,
They do. They have a timeline you can go and you can see.
I know, but where the fuck is that?
It's in your timeline, in your profile. All right, hold on. Let me.
Is it in activities?
No, on your top left, there's your name. Just click on that. Did you find it?
On the top left. Oh, timeline. Yeah, that makes sense.
And if you just scroll down, it just does everything by your posted order date. Okay. So we'll move on to basically the last one. Was it a false flag? So if you had to choose between whether it was a false flag or the official narrative is true, that the government, whatever the government's telling us, whatever the mainstream media is telling us, all of that is true.
Could it have been a false flag to make us think it was a false flag so we wouldn't realize it was a false flag?
What?
Kind of like the old, you know what I'm thinking, so I thought what you were thinking and I rethought it.
I don't think it's going to be that convoluted. I mean, now there is a theory. Robert Steele, I think is his name. He's an ex-CIA agent, and he says that, you know, it happened, but it was a false flag. And the thing is, not all false flags happened the right way, and shots were fired, people got killed, type of thing. There's a lot of theories out there, conspiracy theories, but, you know, having an ex-CIA agent say it, is he a trustworthy source because he's an ex-CIA agent, or is he just following the CIA protocol of more information that's disinformation just to get people off track of what the truth is? I mean, people may not like talking about this, and I think it was Forsaken, saying, you know, I don't show up for a while, and that, you know, I go back on and I'm talking about the Las Vegas shooting. I think it's important. This is what the biggest shooting in United States history, right? And mainstream media is pretty much not covering. They're just going on to the next shooting, the next shooting, the next shooting. Hollywood.
Yeah, there's a lot of loose ends. I totally agree. It's like nothing has been definitively solved.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just it's a guy shot a bunch of people and that's it, close case. But what I'd like to see is what I talked about earlier, is that there's just not enough transparency, and it seems like we're getting there's more and more fog every year. It seems when you get these interviews, everything's becoming more general, more vague. Oh, sorry, I really can't answer that question right now. We're still under investigation. And then you never know. And then nothing ever happens. We're just not getting the information that I think we're supposed to get as American freaking voting republic citizens. Fucking damn it. You know, it's like we're left in the cold. There's nothing going on over here. Don't worry about it. We're already using this for our own political ill-gotten gains or whatever narrative or talking points we're trying to push to get or pass legislation or to get manufacture some kind of consent or something like that.
You know, it was easier. I think it's always been happening. It was just easier for them to get away with it before the internet, because now they've upped their game because they had to. Before, it was easy for them to pass off whatever narrative they wanted because nobody really had the resources to check it. Now the resources are at your fingertips, and we're starting to see that they're bullshitting us. Now they have to get more diabolical, so it's kind of an atomic explosion. And whenever we catch on to something, they try to take that away and make it different. Like they censor YouTube, and they censor Facebook, or So now they're starting to see what they have to do to counter that awareness, because it's starting to hurt them.
I mean, I have seen government documentations of the playbook of this, the campaign, Project Mockingbird is one. I want to switch real quick over. I'm going to mute everyone again to one last video and one last investigative piece that I did. So I'm going to mute everyone real quick.
Okay. Oh, by the way, that guy in that last video was in the shooter bullet guy.
Yeah, at the beginning.
Yeah. That's my guy, man. That's my guy.
All right. I'm going to mute and we'll switch over one last time. And I didn't set it up yet, so give me 1 second. Wow, I didn't realize there's so much.
Hey, you guys know, not to get off topic, but just to remind people, I don't know who watched it, but Tucker Carlson is going to have Donna Brazil on. See how that goes.
I don't think they can really talk about anything substantial.
Yeah, I think, that's what I mean. It's just, there's just, what if we like Dominic's saying, that's such a great point. They have to, they've probably had to hire more personnel and a larger staff to play this chess game a little better, so that they have to better conceal their hyperbole, better conceal their propaganda, better conceal that it is propaganda, better conceal that it is hyperbole, better to conceal that it's bullshit. I think Dominic has made a great point, which, it seems like, I bet they have a round-the-clock team behind the scenes called the Shadow Mainstream Media Bullshit Crew that fucking, I guarantee, gets all this shit and just distorts it, to fit their narratives. It just really seems that way. So as far as false flags, how do you know? How do you really know? We just don't have enough information.
Yeah. And I think you always have to start out with, do you believe the official narrative? And that's how you just always have to start. And then the end piece, the end game is, was it a false flag then? And then if you can't get to that point, then you have to re-question your I guess hypothesis. All right, so I'll mute real quick. I'm going to play another snippet and then just something that I will show afterwards as well. All right. All right, so I'm going to unmute. Now, one of the things that I was looking at, I went to the site, of course, to verify a license and check, just like in the video. And of course, you're not going to get any results, or not very much, if you just do one person. So what I do is just like anything else, you're searching into a database, and typically the percentage sign will return, it's a wildcard. So it'll search for everything if you don't put anything before or after it. So here we go. We returned the entire list of everything that's in the Nevada database for licenses. So I'm going to zoom in a bit. And you can see there's a couple of test users here. But if you look through that, they do have deceased information for people who have had private investigator licenses, but they're now dead. But if you go ahead and do a search for Campos, you notice that there's not going to be, of course, anything else, just like the video says. Now, what's interesting, and anyways, you can do the same thing. Just go to the site. I'll let you know the site in the live chat. Now, what I want to talk about also is that there was an interview with some expert, I guess you could say, on Fox News. I saw it on YouTube. I'm muting you for a second, Dominic. All right. So, and in that interview, the guy he's interviewing is saying, people who want to be a security guard, they don't need Nevada state license because they're working directly for the company, a company such as the casino or the hotel that they were at. So he didn't need an investigator's license. Now, what happened is on YouTube, of course, an official story reports a security guard from Nevada who's retired came on and talked about how that was false. You do need, because he worked for 7 years at one casino, a couple years at another, and then he retired. You do need to go through and get a Nevada license to be a security guard.
It's a guard card. It's called a guard card.
Yeah. And he got like 300 death threats. People found who he was, called him up, and he was getting death threats. So, I mean, that kind of also changes a little bit of the mindset of the official narrative. And also, what's the latest news that was it Jesus Campos? He just turned up missing. He's missing now. They're saying he like is hiding in Mexico somewhere. That's so. Everything is fishy. There do seem to be some like right away. Okay, are you more towards official narrative, or are you more towards official narrative just doesn't add up? I think the official narrative doesn't add up.
Me too.
Dominic, Snork.
I don't think it adds up.
Snork.
Yeah, I don't think it adds up either, and that's troubling to me.
Yeah, that's my feeling, of course, too. Exactly. What's the live chat say?
What about people in live chat?
They have a mortuary technician there that says that bodies in the
Jay not add up. Jay Scott.
Yeah, but she said that the bodies did not look like she would have expected. If somebody who works in a mortuary should have more experience than I take that as a very significant comment.
Yeah.
Fine. Jay's the only one who answered. No, it's just nothing. We can't add anything up. We don't have all. It's like having a formula. It's like getting a recipe to make fucking jambalaya. Okay, but there's a lot of ingredients and processes that we don't have information on. It's hard to formulate a factual conclusion or come to a real definitive conclusion if we don't have all the information. We just don't.
Jay should come in. Jay should come in, and this way we can talk. This way here, it's another view that we might not be looking at.
Yeah, everybody's pretty much the same. Everybody says that nothing really adds up.
Yeah, I mean, but to call it, is it a false flag? I wouldn't say to go there yet.
Yeah.
I mean, the official narrative doesn't sound right. Being a false flag doesn't sound exactly right either. There are other conspiracy theories that follow the money. Snork mentioned the Saudis, and then the other one mentioned that we saw earlier that the owner or the CEO of Mandalay Bay, sold, or MGM sold a lot of shares, up to like 8 million or so, or 12 million, something crazy like that, like a month or two before the incident. And George Soros,
really?
Yeah, and George Soros had a put of something like $412 million that the Mandalay Bay or MGM was going to lose a lot of money. And so there's that theory. So you'll have to go back and watch that part, James. Hopefully there's audio.
I got to go back and look at some articles that I haven't had the time the last few days to look at, but also the link back to Hillary Clinton on the money from Saudis.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it for this episode. If you want to talk about something else, do you want to switch to Mana Talk, James?
I usually have days off on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
I came in for this. I've got. You don't want to see what's going on here. I've got a lot of stuff I got to do. I'm not going to point my camera downward because they would probably make everybody sick. No, I'm kidding. But no, I just got a lot of stuff I got to do, man.
Okay.
But if anybody else wants to get on, I'll stay on for a little bit, but I got to get stuff done. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. I kind of want to end it there too. But does anyone have, like, is this something worth doing again, like after a month? After more?
I'd like to revisit this in about 90 days.
All right.
Is that too long?
That could be too long.
Okay.
I'd say a month.
Okay, a month. We'll revisit in a month. Let's get some more information. Come back. I mean, but what else is going to happen till then? Who fucking knows, right?
I mean, it's just like Seth Rich. When do we need to revisit Seth Rich? I mean, when there's new information that comes out. I mean, do we need to do this when we feel like there's enough information to either actively state that the official narrative has totally been debunked?
That's a good point. So if we have the information, if we've done our due diligence, like it seems like you have, which is great. I've kind of searched around and saw a few interesting videos myself and just a lot of information. But coming back to it, absolutely, we should do that on certain events. I think that's a good idea. I need Snork to like do more, get your hands dirty, buddy. You know, like say I'm like we're an investigative team, like CSI, and I'm just like I don't know what guy I
would. You're just a Joey.
Yeah, I'm just the Joey of the NCI team. But Snow could be like the technical guy or the engineering guy. You would be the technical computer guy. Dominic would be the kind of guy with the wisdom. You know, tell us kind of, hey, you guys don't want to do that shit. That's not a good idea. But anyway, but we do need to have it like a little investigative team that'll pick this shit apart. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
What's our name? Let's get a name for this. NCI Candlelight.
Hold on.
Candlelight and NCI.
Oh, okay. Something that we probably wouldn't want to put on live chat there, Snork. That's why he puts it on here. Anyways, the great thing about Zoom is they do have end-to-end encryption, in which I do set it up to be encrypted. So, not that it matters because people are seeing us in public, but I think chat might be safe, except for, of course, all right, so that's it for
that was cool.
James, you're going on tomorrow night, I assume?
Yes, sir.
Man to Talk tomorrow night. And of course, I have seen Stevie. You're doing the after hours for Stevie. That's pretty nice. Independent Outsider. I've seen his, I think he's just singing. But, and then, of course, Christian.
Yeah, Christian's
not on. Christian.
He's getting the hang of that. I told him, I said, man, and I'm sorry I'm not getting it, but I'm trying to go through those tutorials for OBS. And as I'm going through the tutorials, I'm really feeling very like out of the loop, stupid, naive. Because it seems like OBS has been around for a long fucking time. And I can't believe how I just kind of got up to this and noticed that it was around, halfway through this year. Kind of sad.
It's one of those things that the more you use it, the more you get more fluent and see what else is in there.
Yeah, well, the more I use it, the more I'm fucking it up. That's pretty much what's happening, Dominic. Eben, help me! Eben, help! I had a fucking panic attack yesterday.
Yeah. Well, even in my setup, it's not working perfectly. I have multiple setups going on, so I have to rely on that. So don't worry about that. All right. So I'll try to do more stuff like this in the future. I just want to get things just a certain topic I'm behind on stuff that I want to do, so I won't do this a lot. But I do like, I mean, I feel like this is a big topic. No one really has a discussion about it. Mainstream media have like experts always come on, and it seems like those experts are wrong.
Right.
But then I also look at other videos that are out there, and especially like high viewed videos, and they're also wrong. So it's like,
well, I think, you know, they know, the oligarchs know that this is a way for us to communicate. So one of the, if I was them, what I would be doing, I'd be flooding that platform with all kind of bullshit, just to do what's happening. You know, who do you believe? And it takes, you know, if you do the research, you know, it takes you away from maybe one that would have, like we did tonight, where you can disprove something.
yeah.
I think they flood it.
Yeah, I think they do too. It's just pretty good strategy because, I mean, if you have to do like a Google search and it comes up with like 20 results, you can look up those 20 results. Just like if you were looking up someone in a phone book that, you know, with a kind of unique name, it's kind of easy to go and visit and see if those are people you can talk to. But then if you do a Google search and there's like hundreds of thousands of results, you know, as an individual, you're not going to go through them all. And it's all ordered. The results are ordered by whatever algorithm, which is owned by one of the oligarchs, billionaires in the world. So it gets pretty heavy. I think it's a good strategy. I'm right with you there for that, Dominic. All right.
This is why if we pick it apart, this can be a significant part where, you know, we can pick it. You know, you got like 5-6 people more that look at different things or can add something that they've seen, and we can research it and really flesh it out. So I think this is really a good platform to kind of filter through that the garbage.
Yeah, but we need like hundreds. Each like small team just kind of focusing on one thing, like all these shootings. Another team would focus on like the voting systems. Another thing would focus on the wars. Other people would be focusing on what's actually being done while all this is going on, and like, you know, within Congress, you know, what laws are they passing? You know, it's hard for even us, like say 5 to 8 of us that are on talking about stuff, and then there's also, you know, 10 to 15 people who are just watching and chatting. We can't cover all the massive news that's coming out every day that are huge events.
I don't say we can cover it all, but what we cover, you know, can lead to other people researching stuff. I mean, if this is like I said, it's a filter. It's not the final product, but you know, as we filter through this, I mean, I've learned stuff tonight that I didn't know before. Okay, and this way here, I can look at different things and you know, try with a more open view.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's really the purpose, is to really communicate and get people to see what they believe.
We need boots on the ground, buddy. We need boots on the ground. We need somebody that's right there in the mix of it. People to go out and ask questions. See, when we have a case, when my mom has a case, and she has a network of investigators all over the country, even in Canada and Mexico, that she can use through this service and say, hey, I need you to go into the county clerk's office and get this particular file, get some copies of these or that or something like that, or I need you to go take a picture for me of this particular house or this particular car, or I need you to go do a stakeout and watch this. This is real. There's a network out there. And that would be a great idea. So if something like this happened, immediately send somebody out. Go out there, check it out, find out for yourself, you know, and find out what's going on and let us know and give us the real information that you're finding out.
And they could live stream it. We could just be right there while they're live streaming.
Exactly. Like if something fucking happened in Anaheim by Disneyland, Jim, get out there. I'll go right now. I'll go check it out and just go see what's going on, and I'll get right up to the front, unless it's like some guy spraying bullets everywhere. Well, maybe I'll get pretty close.
Yeah,
but that's what you need. You gotta, if you really, and I don't think the mainstream media kind of does that. I think they do that. I remember they used to have guys that used to go out into these situations where they'd be like right there in the middle of something. I don't see that much anymore. You guys notice that with a lot of these news coverages live at 24? We've got this guy over here watching this. Most of it is like from helicopters. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't think the news, the media that's out there that we have is doing as good a job as that we think we could do. I mean, have like a force of people just go down there and just go look in different perspectives, so you could see one guy seeing another guy across the. Okay, there's camera 2A, Bob. There's camera 3, B, Joe. I can see him. He can see me. We know we're here. We're there. Just that would be fucking badass, man. Let's create our own news goddamn station.
And another thing that would be is great is utilizing something like this. So all the feeds are within one screen. So if we wanted to, we could just focus on one screen that we see. It's like, so if you weren't on a webcam, you're on your phone, you can just flip the phone. So it's what we're seeing is pretty much the back end of the phone. So whoever's reporting, they're just showing us what they're seeing.
Exactly.
And like, okay, we'll switch to him. And then we've got someone else at some other area.
I could record you guys like I'm doing now, right? And then I could flip it and record myself, and then go back to the live.
Yeah.
Then give you guys that feed.
Well, you don't even have to do that. You could just join the Zoom session. And within your Zoom session on your phone, you can either use it as a webcam, so the front of the phone, so it shows your face, and you can switch the camera, so you use it the rear of your phone. So you don't even have to do a record and join, whatever. You just click on Zoom, and there it is. You're recording. I could give you an example.
If more than one person shows up, you can do the corroboration. Like if we had two known cameras at different places at the Las Vegas shooting, it would have corroborated or disproved right then any of the sound things that are going on.
Yeah. There goes all my memory.
Let's see.
Now my new phone's awesome.
Let me join real quick.
Looks like it has a nice case. I've broken mine already.
It's got a good case, bro. My case is like super cool deluxe to the Maximundo Concepcion. Pretty badass.
So my video.
It's fine. It does.
Okay, so there's two.
The last one was just destroyed. It perfectly dropped off the glass. Oh yeah, look.
All right. Now, if I wanted to switch the video right here, there you go. That's filming my mug. So basically, I'm out. Instead of doing it by this, I'm actually just going out filming stuff.
You can see that mug, and you can see your other mug.
Yeah, you can see both mugs. All right. So it's pretty simple. You just have journalism. You don't really need like super duper cameras, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just reporting what's out there.
That's cool.
And if you wanted to, you can filter out the audio, all the noise later. A lot of phones don't have great microphones, but you can always touch it up post-processing.
All right, so let's get. Okay, this is one of our ideas that we're going to. By the way, I'm finding and bringing green people on here. They're responding, and they're going to be on soon. I'm just letting. I don't want to say until they fully have committed, but this one girl is just. I was talking to her about doing this, by the way, and she's really interested, and but she doesn't have time because they just had the election yesterday.
Yep.
For her area, So when she gets everything settled down, she's gonna, come on and all that stuff. But yeah, all our ideas. This is a great idea. So if we can get people all over the place jumping on and coming on, then we could have an emblem, right, that indicates what we are. And I sent that. Snork knows what I'm talking about. It's an icon. It looks kind of dorky, but I think it's cool looking. And that'll be like here it is right here. I'll show you. I'll put it up in the share screen. This is my super cool icon that I created. It almost looks Illuminati-ish, doesn't it? So what that means is these are the three parties, or just, they're kind of not really looking at each other. Blue's looking at the red's looking at the green's looking at the blue, kind of. But they're all kind of looking at the eye. The eye indicates the all-seeing eye. But underneath that there's an I and an S, which means independent source. So that is just a beginning of an icon that I'm trying to create. This is a very, very, very rough draft, but Snork and I are working on it. But I think that would be a good idea to have. If you're part of the independent source, you can come on, you flash your independent source, and then you're part of the independent source team. Like you're verified, but you'd have to have like an independent, I think, source verification number, because I don't want just anybody coming on there and just taking a picture of their junk. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Dominic.
Yeah. Well, as long as nobody can copy it, then we have to.
No. The icon would have a number of who you are. We would have a listing of those people that are part of the independent source. These are just the independent news source or independent source. I don't know what I'm going to call it, but it's just to know that these are the people that are actually working together to do whatever they can to give you absolute real-time, real news or real events.
Blue check on Twitter.
Yeah, we're checking the checkers, and we'll actually be watching some newscast. Oh, this is so-and-so from NBC, from CNN reporting. Just letting you know, I'm just watching what they're giving us. And they're saying that there's a giant monster, but it's just a big paper doll, and it's a green screen. Just letting you know. You know what I mean? That would be good. Just have an independent.
I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, this is just an idea, but I like my icon. You like my icon? It's a good icon. Yeah, Snork likes it too. But anyway, it's a start. Just an independent source where people are cruising around. They're part of the team, and they're out there, and they're just registered with us, with the independent source. So when they send their information, they show us a picture of their source number, which is could be the state that they're in. It could be like Oklahoma, okay, and then it would say 001. Here's the first guy that's out there, and there could be 0023. Does that make sense? That'll be in the top right corner of that icon or within the icon itself, so that we know they're part of the team. And if somebody gets on there and they pose as that person, well, it's got the icon and the number and the person have to match who's out there. Wow, I'm really thinking this through. You guys know I don't drink coffee. You wouldn't have known that, would you?
It's a good thing.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Over the Hedge with Bruce Willis? It's a CGI movie. Probably something Evan's daughter would love to watch. It's freaking epic. I showed it to you guys. This guy, this squirrel who's already moving at light speed, in a sense, drinks coffee, and now he's going faster than time. He's so quick. He's so just yapping. I just don't drink coffee. I'm already pretty high strung. That's why I was a linebacker in college.
Same thing happened in a Futurama episode. The main character Fry ended up drinking so much coffee that he was moving faster than than
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
With Layla.
Leela.
Whatever.
Yeah. They got like $300 allotment by the government. Just kind of like we had way back George Bush era. And so they had $300 to spend. So Bender was deciding to either spend $300 on one hooker bot or $1, have 300 hooker bots, spending for $1 each. But Fry pretty much spent it on coffee. It's good stuff.
That is fucking weird. All right, so who's gonna host? I gotta go to the bathroom.
I think.
Should I? I mean, do we have anybody interested in watching us?
You know what happens? This is kind of early. People will start popping on. Possibly. It's up to you guys.
Yeah.
Do we have a topic?
You don't have to have a topic. It could be anything goes or after hours, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, but I was just saying, Dominic, do we have anything to talk about?
Nothing.
Why don't we just
I don't
call
have anything on my mind, though.
Why don't we just get some rest tonight?
Yeah.
I'll watch a little Netflix, then go to bed, and then I'll be clearer tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow. Something will happen tonight, but tomorrow we'll have something to go by. I'll be on tomorrow night.
And we can take about our new icon and our news team.
Yeah, we'll talk about our new news team here at Independent Source News Radio.
And I'll keep answering all the conspiracy theories in the secret chat on the right.
Yeah. That's it. I know you're laughing about that, Snort, but I'm not kidding.
Just so people know in live chat, we already know whether it was a false flag or not because of Snork, but we can't let that info out for Snork's safety, so I'm sorry.
Right. Sorry, we know it already. You guys are ass out. Bummer. Sucks for you.
So is there ever a time you can discuss it? Like, is there like a window of that passes where you can talk about certain things?
If I see it in the news, or 50 years after I die.
Oh boy. All right. Just have a journal.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thanks. Good night, everybody in live chat. All right.